you're in the military, you could be missing out on hundreds of thousands, even $1 million. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So if you're in the military, you probably are enrolled in the Thrift Savings Plan, the TSP, and you're probably putting money into your TSP every month. But I bet you don't know that if you don't have had that money set up correctly, it's not really going to be building that much towards your retirement. It's just kind of like a nest egg, but it's not really growing to the capacity that it needs it to. Well, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take you guys through. I'm going to walk you through how to set up your TSP correctly, or in a way that's more beneficial for your retirement fund. If you can, while you're here, please hit that like, subscribe button. So let me just show you guys a quick comparison real quick to show you kind of what I'm talking about, okay? So this is, if you put $250 a month for 20 years and you never touch it, you never logged into TSP, you never adjusted your funds, right? Over 20 years, you'll have invested 60,000 and you will only have made 3%, 80,000. You'll have only made 20,000 off your investment. So you can see how this graph has drastically changed. Okay, off the 60,000 investment, you've made, what is that, 140,000, 130,000. You made 130,000 off of your contributions. Okay, so you're talking about $110,000 difference just by having this money in a different fund. Okay, so it's vitally important that you guys check this out, log into your TSP, change your money around, and invest in your future. So first, for a little bit of motivation, let me show you guys. This is what really got me hype about this whole TSP and retirement funds, okay? So if you go to investor.gov and go to financial tools and calculators, compound interest calculator, okay? This is kind of where you can plan for the future and see how much money you can put together and nest egg for your retirement. But let's start at zero. Okay, say you just joined the Army, you're just starting to contribute to your TSP. All right, as a private, you're probably I don't know what 5% is, but let's say it's $250 a month. Okay, that's your monthly contribution, length of time and years. Now here's where you kind of want to play with it to tailor it to the military. Okay, so say you stay in 5 years, 20 years, and we'll kind of play with it like that. So let's say 5 years, right? Estimated interest rates, let's be modest and say 7%. Okay. Over the course of the TSP, it's been more, it's been less, but it's compounding annually. Okay. So we're taking a look at that. So now we'll go ahead and calculate. So we're putting $250 a month for 5 years, gaining 7% interest. Okay. So your total contribution is only 15,000 over 5 years, and you made about $2,200 on that. Okay. But mind you, that's only 5 years. So what we can do there is take this 17,000, that's after 5 years, okay? We'll put it back in initial investment, and then we'll stop contributing, okay? We're out of the military. We're no longer putting any money in the TSP. Okay, let's say by then let's say 25, okay? So you have another 40 years to your 65, right? Now, the TSP you can withdraw, I've heard 55 or 59 and a half, something like that. But let's just say 65. So for another 40 years, and you let it sit there for another 40 years, growing, we'll keep it at 7%, but that's still, give or take. But so after 5 years in the Army, you put 17 grand in your TSP. You get out of the Army, you no longer contribute to the TSP, and you let it sit for 40 years until it's time to retire. Let's go ahead and calculate. That's 258 grand that you'll have at retirement. Okay, so you can kind of see how you can play with this. Now let's do the big one. All right, let's do the big one. All right, let's start back at zero. You just joined the military. Let's say you put $250, and say, now ideally you want to start contributing more as you get pay raises, as you earn more income. You want to devote a percentage. Obviously, the percentage you already have set is going to be increased when you get promoted. However, I would always recommend putting a couple extra bucks in there. Okay, so now we're just going to do for 20 years. Okay, so you do a full 20 years in the military and you retire. So you're getting your retirement, but now this is separate, right? So we're starting from scratch. We're starting back over, and we'll keep it at 7%. Let's calculate. So after 20 years, right, you have 122 grand. Now, that's not where it gets crazy yet, so just stand by. So we'll take that 122 grand and we'll put it back in initial investment. Remember, you've done your 20 years. You're out of the military, so you're no longer contributing to TSP. By then, you'll probably be around 40, right? So we'll do 25 years. You let that 122 grand sit at 7%. Let's check this out. You now have $667,000 at the time of retirement. And keep in mind that that's growing 7% annually. So let's say 10%. So no, 67 grand almost. You'll be making every year just for letting that money sit there. You're able to pool that 67 grand on top of any additional retirement, right? So you can see how we can adjust those numbers, right? So if say we put 500 a month for 20 years while we're in the military at 7%, we'll have 245 years at the time we retire from the military. 245,000 at the time we were retired from the military. Let's go ahead and punch that back into initial investment. Put that to zero. And remember, we're about 40 now, so 25 years until we're 65 at time of retirement. Keep it at 7%. We now have 100. We now have 1,335,000 at the time of retirement. Like I said, 7%, whatever, 10%, 100,000 grand, 100,000 grand, $100,000 you'll have every year will be growing. So 7% of $1 million will be growing every year, ideally. And you'll be able to pull that on top of your retirement and never really have to touch the $1 million. If that makes sense. It'll be there if you need it, but if that money is growing, is growing you a residual income every year, and you can leave that money for your kids, your family members, and this is all on top of, if you get a pension, if you work another job and continue to contribute or put some money in the Roth IRA. However, you will never get to this, and this is the main point of this video. You will never get to this if you have not gone in and adjusted your TSP. Okay, so that's what I'm going to show you right now, step by step, how to get in there, how to adjust your funds and move your funds to different places that will grow at least 7%. Okay, so let's go check that out. All right, so first I want to show you guys, if you go over here on my pay, okay, on the left-hand side, down at the bottom, you'll see TSP, or Thrift Savings Plan, right? The percentage you would like to go to traditional and Roth TSP, okay? Now, if you're getting 5% match from the Army, all right, your 5% that you get from the Army will automatically go into traditional. And I'll kind of explain the difference between the two of these in a minute, but the 5% you will get from the Army will automatically go to traditional, and then you can set up where you want the other 5% to go. I always recommend Roth. That's just my personal preference. But the difference between traditional and Roth, right? So the Roth, as you put money into the TSP, it is taxed, okay? So you are paying your taxes up front right now, okay? And when you put the money into the TSP, it grows, right? And when it comes time to pull it, you don't have to pay any taxes because you already paid taxes on that money. And you don't pay taxes on the growth, all right? Because you've already paid taxes going into the TSP. The traditional, you put all of the money into the TSP untaxed. It has not been taxed, and it grows, right? And then when it's time to pull the money, you have to pay taxes on that big lump sum of money. So it's kind of personal preference. The idea, my thought process behind it, right, is I will never be paying lower taxes than I'm paying right now, if that makes sense. So in 40 years from now, I highly doubt the taxes are going to be less than what they're going to be right now. So that's my concept behind it. But regardless, whatever you choose to do, just do your research and you'll figure it out. Okay. But yeah, so you can set this up to the percentage of your base pay. All right. Whatever your base pay is. So that monthly base pay, this is where that percentage will get pulled from every month. Okay, so here's the website that you need to go to manage your TSP. It's Thrift Savings Plan. You can just Google it and find the website. You have to go here to set up new login if you've never been here before. Yeah, so you have to put in all your info, and eventually you'll find your account, and eventually you'll get to a point where you have to request some information. They'll actually mail it to you at your address. But first, I'm going to take you through. First, let me go in and show you all of the different funds. Okay, so first, I know it's going to be a lot to look at. Just hear me out. Listen up, and I'll kind of explain each of these. Okay, so all of these L funds, all right, are called your life cycle funds. Now, these will be automatically invested over the course of time, right? And this is These are the years you plan on retiring or turning 65, right? 59 and a half, 55, whatever the age is, right? These are the years, okay? And you can go all the way up to, so as of today, 2024, you can go all the way up to 2065, all right? Now, what this does is it automatically invests your fund, right? It takes more risk now, right? As you're young and the fund is growing to gain you more interest, right? Now, I'll kind of break it down a little further here in a second, but it invests the all money automatically in riskier funds right now, and then as you get closer to this year of retirement, 2065, whatever your year is, it will move the money to more safe investments. Okay. And I'll kind of explain that deeper here in a second. But that is what the life cycle fund is. Okay. It automatically invests it for you in different types of funds, splits it up and puts it in different type of funds. And it automatically moves it as you get closer to retirement. It moves the funds to a more safer, less risky, but lower rate of return funds. Okay. So over here, these are the individual funds. Now, here's what I'm saying. When you first sign up, when you first join the military, you first start putting money in your TSP, all of your money, if you have never logged into this website and moved your funds, all of your money is going into the G fund. Okay? That's where your money initially is put in. So if you're in the military for 10 years and you've never logged into this website, right? All of your money goes into the G fund. Okay? Now, if you look, did pretty good this last year, but over the past since the fund was created, the most it's ever done is 4%. Okay, now this is like I said, this is the government bonds. These are less risky funds, right? But over the past 5 years, it's only done 2.4%. Okay, which is not bad. Your money is still growing. It's just if you go back to the calculator and you put in 10 grand over 5 years at 2%, and then you put 10 years at 5 grand at 15%. It's a massive difference, right? And then, all right, so that's your G fund, your government bonds. All right, here's your F fund. I'm not entirely sure what the F fund is. Your C fund is like your S&P 500, okay? And that's what's going to bring you the highest rate of return with the highest risk. So if you look in the past year, it's done 30%. The economy's booming back, right? But so over the past year, it's done almost 30%. Past 3 years, it's done 11%. Past 5 years, it's done 15. Since its inception, it's done it at an average of 11%. Okay, your S fund is your small business, right? Your small business funds, since its inception, has done about 10%. You can see in the past year, it's done 26%. All right, your I fund is your international fund. Okay, so what I'm saying is you can diversify your investments. Sounds fancy, right? You can take this TSP and split it up. So you can put 50% in the C fund, 25% in the S fund, and 25% in the life cycle fund. In this website, you can log in and move this money around to different types of funds. And that's what I'm going to show you right now, exactly how to do it, okay? But this is kind of the basic setup of your funds and your investments, and this is for your retirement. So please take hold of this and manage it. All right, so here's where we go to good stuff. So once you get logged in, you can go up here and look at all your investments, account balance, contributions, change investments, roll over in. You can take loans out against your TSP. I wouldn't recommend it, but right here, change investments is going to bring you to this, okay? So you can change your investment mix, choose between the current balance and future contributions, or move a specific amount of money out of some funds into other funds. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so right here, right? So I can take my initial funds, right, and move them to a different fund or a certain percent, 100%, 50%. I can move the money I already have in these accounts into different funds and move them around. So I just set the percentage I want from the money I already have in the account. I go to move to and I select the percentage I want to go to that fund. I review and complete and submit, and they will move that money from the G fund into another fund, or from whatever fund to whatever fund I want it to. That's for money I already have in my TSP. So here, when I go to change investment mix, I can do money that's already in the plan or money that could be contributed in the future. So any money that is coming in, I can automatically set, right? So if you go right here, these are all contributions that are coming in. I can set to go to whatever fund. So we see right now I have I have mine set to 90% in the C fund and 10% in the S fund, right? But all you would do is put in here, right, 80%, 10%, or 50%, 25%, and 25%. And any money that's coming in from your paycheck into this plan will be automatically split up between the funds. So I hope that gave you guys a good breakdown of the TSP, how to properly invest your money, how to kind of plan for the future, and where to put your money in different funds. I highly recommend you log in today and get that money out of the G fund, or at least put some of it in other funds to get a higher rate of return. Otherwise, your money will not be growing. Cherish life, enjoy your liberty, pursue your happiness. Catch you all on the next one. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Please. Thank you. Have a great day.